Good evening, race folks, and welcome to Tuesday night. Clinton Geoffrey here. Not sure where Adam is. So, right now we think it's funny, but by the end of the thing, it'd be like the parent where you're worried about your kid. You think it's funny, and then it's cute, then you're mad, then you're worried. Adam helped me book some guests today, so I'm sure he'll be around. We got Ray Morno Jr. coming on. We've got Darren Dryden coming on to talk about an SOS doubleheader this weekend at Oshweekend and Brighton. And then we're hoping Matt Williamson, who's a recent father since the last time he's been on the show, and all kinds of stuff going on there. And there's always controversy and rumors down in New York and the Northeast about the modifieds, and Matt's right in the middle of all of it, so we'll bring him in. First guest is standing by and ready to go, so we won't waste any of his time. Ray Morno. Ray, are we calling you Ray Morno Jr. or just Ray Morno? Because, I've heard it both ways.
I've been called a lot worse, so Ray Morno's fine with me. Whatever works for whatever you want to call me.
So who still calls you Junior then, I guess, is the question.
A lot of your broadcast. Other than that, not a whole lot. Around my family, it's just Little Ray, because I have an uncle Ray, and my grandfather was Ray too. So no, that's in the States when I raced, they used to call me Bubba. I'm not. There was one night in the Toledo bar that got me that nickname, but other than that, it's just been Ray.
So we're perpetuating. Okay, well, Junior's gone then. We'll just drop it from the deal. I joke with Jackson, my son, who's the camera guy with us, right? His name's Jackson, but he's named after my grandpa Jack. Now you got some Jack in your history too. And my brother said, well, why are you going to name him Jackson? Just name him Jack if you're naming after Grandpa. I said, well, he'll know when the bank's calling, because if they call and ask for Jackson, just like all my guys call me Clint, but somehow broadcasting Clinton Geoffrey just rolls better. Anyways, let's get to the matter at hand. Ray, coming back into Delaware this weekend with the APC Series, a place you know well, a place you run well, a place you've won a lot of races at. Do you feel like your APC Series is still on track? Is it recoverable? Because you had a great finish there at Peterborough.
Yeah. I feel like obviously there's going to have to be some bad luck on other people's part, and I don't wish that on anybody. But if it happens kind of thing, right? But I definitely think it's still possible. But we need to go out and try and win every race we can. And we did have a good run there at Peterborough. Flamborough, we had a right front caliper start to seize up about halfway through, so that kind of hindered our finish there. We ran fourth for a good portion of the race, and then ended up eighth. But Peterborough, we had speed right out of the trailer, and it continued all night. So it was we need more races like that, and rolling that momentum into Delaware. We are super excited and can't wait to get unloaded and on track.
Yeah, to have Dale Shaw on the podium, and then you also, along with Sheridan, it felt like, you guys kind of needed that good run to get some, mojo back in the team and, make that next day trip back home a bit better. Delaware, what's tough on the outsiders when they come to Delaware? If you're an outside guy coming to Delaware, what's something that maybe you or Steckley, the guys that race there weekly, the Sheridans, have up on somebody who doesn't compete there on the regular?
I'd say the speed is obviously more than anywhere else we go to. And then just 3 and 4 is the biggest, not issue, but the hardest part at Delaware. You can attack it so many different ways. So it seems like it would be easier for some people to get used to, but there's just so many different ways, and you have to be specific on which way you choose entering the corner to complete the corner with the way you entered, kind of thing, right? It's tough. It's a tough place, a lot of speed, like I said, and they paved it on the outside, but it's still pretty rough. It's still got a lot of character. So you for the guys that race there all the time, they know where the character is in the track, and you can kind of use that to your advantage when you got guys that haven't been there a lot.
Are you able to set up, and I'm trying to think of the question, the best way to try and dumb it down a bit, I guess, is, so it has 2 very different corners, right? One's a lot tighter, one's more sweeping. Do you have to set your car up? I guess the best question is, can you put a setup in the car that equally handles both ends of the turns, or are you giving up one to be better in a more important end of that racetrack?
I feel like you sort of give up a little bit. I'd say more in 3 and 4, but you can make speed as a driver yourself through 3 and 4. So if you get your 1 and 2 good, you can kind of you can attack the corner different and make the car do what you want, kind of thing. So it's yes and no, but it just kind of depends on what you want. And like I said, for the guys that race there all the time, they kind of know what they want going there, right? Sorry, I couldn't hear you there. I couldn't hear your question.
What happens when you have your pack the track nights? It was my issue, Ray. What happens when you have your pack the track nights? You know, and you have this initiative where you have all these people coming out on the hill having a good old Friday night party. Delaware's one of the better spots that does that.
Yeah, for sure. My sister, that's all credit to her. The pack the track night. That was she lines it all up. She's done it the last 2 or 3 years, and she did another incredible job. I think we had 200, just over 200 people there, and it was awesome. Weather was sort of iffy, but it held out, and it sucks. We had a problem. We got the car good in practice for the tires we were on. Bolted tires on for qualifying, and we were all right. And then the feature, it was like a completely different car. So it was kind of unfortunate with everybody there. We didn't run the way we wanted to at all. So we think we found the problem. Have a game plan for next time we go back there, and we'll see. It's just like I said, it sucks to not run the way you want, especially coming off a win to start the year and then second night. So just kind of sucks, but we'll be back stronger.
Let's talk about tires for a second. In the past 5-6 years, we've been covering the APC Series, and a lot more asphalt for me because, as you guys know, I come from the dirt side. I hear a lot of talk about bad set of tires. So are the tires, is a better way to put it, are the tires a gamble for you? Like, are you worried every set you guys are buying? And is this a manufacturer thing, or is it the fact that you can't match them the way you want? Like on the dirt side sprint cars, for example, we have chalk marks, right? So the guys will go in and they'll try and get the inch or two they want for whatever their style likes. So explain the tire game for us. Why your car goes from like great in practice, great in qualifying to shit in the feature, all because of tires.
Yeah, so sometimes I've heard a lot of the stagger going out of whack once you run the tire in. We didn't, like, our tires came in good, but I do know that there's been problems, like, say compound wise, where you just get a bad set that just doesn't work. So we're like we go into the tire trailer same as your dirt guys. I'd imagine we look for what we want chalk mark wise, size them up, and then if they don't work for us, we go get another tire, kind of thing, right, and get what we need. But sometimes they just aren't good. So I'm really hoping that it wasn't a bad set of tires, because we're on an inventory deal at Delaware, so those 4 tires are inventoried. So that'll kind of suck, but we're gonna try and get down and test if they have a practice on Monday, and see. We're not going to change anything, just change the 4 tires and see if we got a bad set of tires. But like I said, I think we found our issue with a kind of a part failure, malfunction kind of thing. So we'll see. Like I said, we want to go and test. If not, we'll roll out next Friday and see what we got.
Ray, explain tire inventory for like some of the dirt fans, or maybe someone who's not familiar with how that works. What does that mean?
Yeah, so we get an allotment of 8 tires to start the season. And then after the fourth night, we're allowed to add one tire every night if you run full time. So by the end of the season, I think we're allowed 16, 17, something like that. The 75 lappers were allowed 2 tires to kind of even out with the out-of-towners coming in and having 4 tires. So definitely makes you have to think about the way you want to put tires on. If you want to, I've heard of guys just putting one on, like a right rear or right front on, or saving up for a set or saving up for 2 rears. Just kind of all depends. We try and make a game plan before the season starts, but if you have a bad set, you don't know, your game plan might go out the window, right? So we'll see. Like I said, with what we got, but as for right now, we're just going to keep on rolling with what we got. But till we get to test, we'll see what if changes plan.
How different is your day on Saturday with APC from a regular Friday at Delaware?
Yeah, it's a lot different. We don't take care of the car. Me and my dad, we did last year, but this year Casey Cash Racing's taking care of it. So Terry Simpson and Pete Vanderweest are taking care of the car, and they've done a heck of a job. We had a motor failure at the beginning of the year, but there's nothing you can do about that, right? So it's nice to come out with speed at Peterborough and get the team back. They're all pumped up and ready to go to Delaware. So yeah, we don't take care of it, so it's a little bit different for us. But it's nice to have Terry and Pete and the team to get the car ready, and when we unload, we're quick. So it's super exciting to work with them. And then yeah, as for Saturday, it's just a bit different. The day you get in there early, and then you get your practice done. Then you kind of wait around for qualifying, get that done, and then you wait around for the race, right? So it's just different than a Friday night, but excited to get back to Delaware with the series.
Let's talk about that. So obviously Terry and Pete, veterans of the NASCAR Canada Series, they've been up and down this road a long time. But for you as a guy who's, what I would classify as not a helmet bagger, you're not a guy who just shows up with your helmet ready to race. You've put every nut and bolt on your cars over the years. How difficult is that for you to be hands off, and how much input do you have coming into a place like Delaware where you have owned it in the past into that car that they're going to prepare and bring for you on Saturday?
Yeah, it's definitely been a bit of a change for me and my dad. Like you said, we're very hands on. And we've always done all of our own stuff, so it's definitely a little bit different. But we've been down there and helping them where we can and with what we can. So it's been a bit of a change, but obviously communication is key, and we've been talking back and forth with what's going into the car, what we're going to the track with, and that kind of thing. And yeah, as for Delaware, I have my trust in Terry with what we're going with. We've worked together here for the beginning of the year, and we've been on par for whatever he's changed. That's kind of what me and my dad were kind of leaning towards. So it's been great. It's been a good start. Like I said, it was a rough start at the beginning, but there's nothing you can do with a blown motor, right? So to get a regular a solid race day in at Peterborough, it was nice to carry that momentum here into Delaware too.
Right on. Ray, let's have some fun here. I don't know where Adam is, and I wouldn't doubt if I look at Facebook. So he hadn't been on in over an hour, but he did. He's the one. He's the one that got you to me today, right? So it's not like he was non-existent, but yeah, I don't know where Adam is, and I think he's probably sleeping. So
I was gonna say he's probably
see him on the weekend. Just razz the shit out of him. Anyways, he said to me, a dirt track in the States canceled because of the heat, quote unquote. Is it too hot to race? And at what point should tracks be canceling because of heat?
Yeah, I understand it, and I also don't like it, kind of thing. I get it for the safety of all the workers, the fans, the crews, the drivers, right? But in another way, it does suck. We only have so many weeks in the year, right? For us up here, there's only so many weeks we can race. So I want to race as much as we can, but I do understand from their point that you gotta keep your people safe, drivers, crews, staff, everybody like that. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
I think the world's become a big bunch of pussies. I truly do. I truly do. We've gone way too far on this. If you've got heat issues, drink lots of water, stay in the shade. If you can't handle it, get out. But I'm with you. We get 18, 25 nights a year to play this game, and now you're going to tell me it's too perfect? I just don't see it. I was reading this because Adam said to me, would you have canceled a race night if it was hot as it was this week? I said never! Exclamation point! Exclamation point! We just don't get enough of it. I mean, I'm sure I'm going to take some flack for my answer, but I do. We're too soft. Come on.
Yeah,
let me ask you a question. Okay, go ahead. I want to hear what you had to say. Like
I said, with only having so many weekends up here, right? I mean, our summer is pretty short to get racing in. You wanna cram as much as you can in, right?
It's like having an outdoor hockey league and saying the ice is too hard today. We don't think we can do it. Yeah. Puck's just gonna slide too fast. We can't do it. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Hey, we've all been out there in hot days, and no doubt, you guys got it the worst. The racers in those suits all night long. I'm hoping Spencer's listening, which I know he is. I'm hoping when we keep playing with this in-car stuff we've been doing, I would love to get a thermometer on the side of one of your seats of the next in-car just to see how hot it is for you guys in there. I know it can't be good. Ray, we're going to move on. Thanks so much, but quickly, maybe help us sell some tickets for Saturday. Why should fans come and watch the APC Series at Delaware on Saturday afternoon?
It's by far, I don't know where you're going to find another series that is that competitive. I mean, you're going to look from pole to, I'd say, probably 15th to 17th, basically the whole field. We're going to be within 2-3 tenths. That's, like I said, try and find another series that is that competitive. They're all top-notch cars, top-notch drivers. It's going to be super exciting, and I can't wait to get there. It's going to be fun to get back to the track with my KCR guys, and got to thank Leuna, Gallagher, East Elton Concrete Forming, Dutch Brothers. They are the ones that put our race car on track, and got to thank my car owner too, Jonathan Arts. He's racing this weekend too, I believe. So it's going to be exciting to race with the boss man.
Be good to see all you guys from the West this weekend. We're looking forward to it as well. For all you not going to be there at the Speedway, you can catch us live on Racing America Saturday afternoon, live from Delaware Speedway. It's the APC Series. Thanks, Ray. We'll see you this weekend. Have some great luck.
Thank you. See you there.
Ray Morno, no longer junior. Going to see him on Saturday as part of the APC Series, and he sold it all. What a great host of cars. And I can't think of another series that can boast the kind of competition like that, other than the series we're going to talk about next, which are the Dirt 360 sprint cars in Ontario. Primarily, I'm biased to Ashweekend, but of course the SOS has put a lot of work in to a big weekend here as part of their Gold Cup Series. 2 nights, going back to Brighton on Saturday, Ashweekend on Friday. I got to have lunch with Peter today. Bring Darren Dryden on. I look for something here. Darren, welcome to the show.
Hey,
look what I got. I got the payout envelopes.
There you go. That's what we like.
See what that is? That's $5,000. And let me see what's in there. Oh, there's $5,000 already in there.
There you go. That's awesome.
So, just looking at some of these envelopes to give Peter some props. I got to thank Tammy 10, Nitro 54, Ackland, all the work that Peter does. So $5,000 for the win Friday and Saturday, $1,150 for second, $1,000 for third. That's some good cash, right? $800 for fourth, and cruising on down. Fifth is still $700. Darren, welcome to the show. I'm assuming you're going to go to both races this weekend. You've been competing. You're the Lawns We Do champion in the past at Brighton. You know your way around that spot. Why should fans follow you guys from Ashweekend to Brighton on Saturday?
Yeah, it's always a good show on that they put on there. We always get the battle of the East and us, as well as some Americans will come down and race with us. I think ESS might have the weekend off, so we'll probably see some of them out there, especially with the money that's on the line. Yeah, we'll obviously be there. We're chasing the SOS deal. We're chasing the Oswego deal. We did miss one Lons We Do race, but we'll be trying to make as much as we can throughout the remainder of the year with them. We try to support as much as we could. I just had other plans that weekend. We couldn't make the first one.
Let's talk about your runs at Oswego recently. You've been running really good. The competition's hard there. Talk about your Oswego season, how it's been going. Are you living up to your expectations so far, and are you happy with your progress and the finishes you've been grabbing?
Yeah, we're, as a team, we're extremely happy with how this year's been going. I feel like out of all the tracks that we go to, Oswego is usually one of the ones that we've been struggling at. Not necessarily struggling at, but not as strong as everywhere else that we go to. Where this year things have kind of changed. We've got pace every single time we get on the track. Last year, we were just briefly looking at it because we've noticed we've been in a lot of top fives, and last year out of 27 races, we had 6 top fives. This year we already have 6 top fives in 7 races, and the one race where we didn't, we blew a tire. So we're running, strong, definitely better than, we're overachieving compared to what we were, hoping for. At the same time, this is definitely, what we believe, we're capable of. It just seems to be that everything's kind of worked out. Luck's been a little bit on our side other than the tire situation. But other than that, we've been moving forward every race and showing speed every time we hit the track. Usually by the end of the night, I may struggle with 5 to 10 laps to go. A lot of that is my experience. And I feel, 3 years into this now with the 360s and learning what we have through setup, we've just been a lot stronger as the night, progresses and the track slicks off.
Glenn Stiers, when I took over and a little bit before that as manager, he wanted to be a driver's track where you guys had some say in, procedures and the way we do things. Now, we're not going to let the inmates run the whole asylum, but things like the off-season vote for format. We heard a lot of squawking about drivers. And to me, I'll be straight with you, I don't think it's what our fans want. I don't think so. And that's part of the reason why I had to line them up. I was going to have a talk with Adam, but he failed us here. The fans want handicapping. They want Dylan Westbrook 18th. They want Ryan Turner 17th. They want you 16th. They want Corey 15th or whatever the order is for that week. And they don't want you guys starting up front. This new situation is, and let me just finish that thought by saying most of the other races I've called over the years on a weekly situation, I don't think it would work letting the fast guys start front. But our competition is so good with 5 to 8 different drivers that could be hot any night of the week. Like even Farnham comes up out of nowhere and he's just in the mix all of a sudden. So those types of things where for some reason it works with sprints. But this year, you guys voted on a performance-based system. In the last pass, the way we did it before in the passing points, you drew for your starting spot in your heats, which was totally random. And then based on whether you were moving forward or backward, you gained or lost passing points, which would move you up in the order. And if you were in the top 8, you'd get in the redraw for a shot of the redraw. This year, it is based on the high limit and what the SOS is doing as well, where it's timed hot laps, fast cars to the front all night long. Is that a system that is helping you with these finishes, or, where did you kind of lie with that?
Yeah, I find we definitely, run stronger at the beginning of a night. So qualifying wise, we're always able to be up there. Definitely, I feel we benefit from that versus every single time I, pull a number, I swear I'm at the back. But then again, passing's fun too. But where I see it with our division, once you get into lap traffic, it's kind of anybody's game. And kind of having all those fast guys at the front, it's a totally different style of racing where now you're battling through lap traffic. And I don't know how many people have really noticed, but I think there's less cautions now because you're not dealing with, a big different pace of the guys starting in the front row to a few back who are trying to get there as quickly as they can. We already know that it's a long race and Sheridan and Ryan are in the front of the last race. And we just had to, be patient and let the car come to us, where in the past, it was like, who gets there first? So I think it's kind of cleaned things up. It's in the end, it might, a little bit less torn up equipment. And at the end of the day, now we kind of have to realize how to drive through lap traffic and kind of, get that a reach on the field and, kind of, get that gap from second place, third place, and so on. So it's definitely changed things. I think it's helped us a little bit. Me being, still, a rookie, I would say in the last, few years, where I'm not going to be as aggressive. We're now being around the same, speed with the guys that I'm beside. I can be a little bit more aggressive. I can know their pace a little better. I can know what to expect. We're kind of lining up with similar guys each week. But yeah, it's definitely a different change. I've liked it with the SOS division, so it's not something that we haven't been used to. But there's so many different ways to do it. There's not really a right or wrong, I would say. You got guys where maybe they want to start, top two being the fastest. I do like the fast guy going fourth. It makes it interesting. You're always watching that guy to see if he can try and, get up to the win for the heat race, knock one of the other guys out, sort of thing. It's interesting.
I'll give you that. I mean, if Friday was an example, I mean, we were done at 10:15 on a Friday night. I mean, that's damn near miraculous for us, and it's not because we drag our feet. I mean, our team hustles better than anybody, but I think, that was good proof for it. I'll give you a bit of more validation for that. I don't know if you were with us not at the time, but we did a crate scramble a few years back where I got this stupid idea where we went to a modified race in New York in the 76er, and they qualify 30 cars, but everybody draws for a 76 lap race. Well, all right, let's qualify 28 crates and do a complete draw. That was a bad idea. We had cars up front that should not have been in position number 3 and 7 and 10. And of course, no driver is, I don't say brave enough or smart enough or, to say, hey, I'm not ready for this. I'm not ready to start fourth, but I'm going to do it. And it was chaos and never again. So I'll agree with that. And I do think the closing rate of the 360 sprints, you guys do find traffic in about 3 or 4 laps many nights.
Yeah.
And that is some of the best racing to see you can slice and dice through that. I mean, even in our crates, it's been really good to see, Stratford and Costa and Murdoch and those guys in Dykstra, when they get to traffic, it's a whole new game. It then becomes anybody's game again. Let's talk about Brighton. How different of a place, I guess the question is, how different does your setup need to be for Brighton, and how much work will you guys have to do between Friday and Saturday for the asphalt fans watching?
I mean, most people will have a similar baseline everywhere they go. Aside from that, you kind of see how the track progresses, pretty quickly what you're going to get throughout the night, just, by patterns of how it is through hot laps. Obviously that's our qualifying too. So you every lap counts. Every lap you got to be on it. And then that track often will work the track, and then we'll have to pay attention to, are they going to work the track? That's going to change things to how we want to adjust throughout the night. But 2 totally different track surfaces, and yeah, definitely changes things for the competition.
Let's talk about track prep at Ush Weekend. So it was your crew guy, Steve, that said to me, why don't we ever see track prep at Ush Weekend throughout the night? And, for a lot of places, you pour water down, you just seem to be wasting time. We had talked about crumbling it up. I don't know. What would you like to see done at the track at Ush Weekend?
No, it's an interesting question. I've been really pleased with how the track's been this year. Every single time we've hit the track, it's been a totally different surface. I think that's been, a game changer to give us a different race every night, to see who's going to be up front and stuff like that. And I believe in the previous years we've been pretty consistent. It could be good or bad depending on who you talk to. What would I like to see? It would be interesting to see how the track would progress if you guys were to maybe water it throughout the night, or give us a little bit of a curve to work to run with. Obviously, we had one naturally with the last race, combination of probably no sun and just the way the weather was going into it. The infield was flooded, and you guys still were able to give us a great surface, something different. Some people may not have liked it. It's not for everybody. But I love that every single time we hit the track, it's something different. And I think if we're able to, experiment with that, and, the track kind of experiment with it as well, we kind of learned what puts on a good show. But I think overall this year has been great. With every single time we hit the track, it's been something different.
Yeah, I think, a lot of people think like Ziggler sits up there and he's got this magic dial or, lever he pulls to say, haha, I'm going to give him slick tonight. I'm going to give him a big cushion. I mean, like, he's fighting. Spencer, do you have the picture I sent for pick drop of the track? Spencer, you're there with me setting up the TV cameras. So they pour the water to this thing every week. Like, I was soaked in mud going to set the TV screen up at, like, this is 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock last week. I just had to take a picture because a lot of people think there's not a lot of work. But yeah, so that's good, Spence. But, so I think you're right. And the way I actually said this to Steve, I said, it's like best way I can describe the track is it's almost like a plant or a flower. It's an organic entity, and it's affected by the weather with a little bit of our input, but a lot of it has to do with what's going on around it. Like, I'm sure you guys are looking at this heat and expecting it to polish off and be super slick on Friday. I mean, that's in my mind what you're going to get. And that's not because Ziggler said it that way. That's because no matter what he does, we are likely going to end up with that this week. So, I just think the one thing we will say always from the track, the priority is smooth. Okay? So if we got to give a cushion, but it's going to be rough, we will try and always diminish that roughness and less cushion if it means the track's smoother. So that's just from where we are on our side. How tiresome are these weekends for you, Darren? Do they wear you out?
No, I mean, at the end of the day, this is what we love to do. I probably, feel like it's a little bit, harder work through what I'm doing throughout the week to try and, kind of financially be able to race. I'm balancing two of my companies and doing a lot of work with that. And without, my team, it would be a lot of work for me on the weekends. And I'm thankful that I have, Steve Moulton, Steve Carey, and my dad, John Dryden, for all the work that they do behind the scenes. We got quite the rhythm. And I think that kind of makes it a lot easier for all of us when we show up. And then, even this year, we brought on another crew guy, Liam Hopkins, which is pretty cool. He came all the way from New Zealand. So, shout out to him for making the trip out to here and helping us out this year. So it's pretty cool. And then, yeah, honestly, without them, it would be a ton of work. And, hats off to those people who are capable of, doing the whole bit themselves. But obviously, my, background's a little bit different with what I do on the team. And I'm a little bit, more on the financial side. And I'm the one that does all the, the video edits that we, keep up to date with and to, keep all of our sponsors and everybody that can't make it to the track involved and follow along with what we're doing this year.
Is it too hot to race? Should we be canceling? That's my last question for you.
I would say it's never too hot to race. You just got to be prepared for it. I agree with what you were saying before. I know there's times where, it's a little crazy, but, we got to take advantage of every opportunity we can when the track surface is good enough. And it helps that we're racing that night.
What's going on in Australia? What's going on in Texas? What's going on in California? I'm sure it's a lot hotter than it is here right now. Every night they're out there in those cars. Darren, anything you want to say before we head on out?
No, I think you guys are doing a great job with the track this year, and obviously G-Force getting everybody else more involved on and off the track. I think it's a lot of big gains all around, and to see the World of Outlaws this year was really cool. And hopefully we can join in and be a part of it next year. So who knows?
Thanks, bud. We appreciate you being here, Darren Dryden, guys. Thanks, Darren.
Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Catch Darren Fridays at Ush Weekend. We're live on G-Force, as he said. If you can't be with us 7:30 every Friday, we're live with the broadcast from the Speedway. Darren is one of the top guns in the 360 sprint cars for the Cool Kids Core Pack Sprints, and he'll also be there Saturday at Brighton for the doubleheader Gold Crown weekend for the SOS. $5,000 to win both nights, 500 to start. Good money on the line for the SOS this weekend. Hopefully everybody at Brighton has a great time down there. The sprint cars are always good at Brighton. All right, everybody, now's your chance. If you got Adam's phone number, everybody needs to phone Adam. We don't know where he is. This is kind of funny, maybe a bit concerning. Man, Spencer, think about what a dick I'll feel if he's having like a medical situation over there, and I've been making fun of him in my head for an hour, but too bad. Till we know it's the way it goes. We're hoping Matt Williamson can join us here shortly. Spencer, I don't even know what I sent for Burger Barn videos of the week. Let's just have some fun here. Send them what you got. Oh, there's Adam. Hold on. Where have you been, and do you have a note from your mother?
Dude, horrified. I just woke up in my chair.
Yes.
It's got to be time. Mortified. I'm so sorry to the people watching. I am so sorry. In 5 years, I've never done that. How long have we been doing this show? This is show like 270 something.
But I don't even know what to say.
I don't either. What did I miss?
Well, we had a great time with Ray Morno. We just got off the blower with Darren Dryden. I guess you should tell me, is it too hot to race? Because they told me what they thought.
I'd love to know what they thought. No, it's not. Summertime is summertime, man. You take what Mother Nature gives you and you work it out. Gary didn't talk to me earlier either. He stood me up. My messages.
I can't help but laugh. You missing it. It was great. It's so good. Right before you appeared, I just told everybody, I said, now is the time. If you've got Adam Ross's message or his number, everybody call him right now. And then you appear like Beetlejuice.
Really?
Yeah. All right. I need your help. So your timing's perfect because I was just running out of mojo there. We're hoping Matt Williamson's going to join us in about 6 minutes' time. Matt, when I responded to him, and I knew you were into the show today because you were all around.
I was involved.
Yeah, you're actually involved today. As I said to Spencer, some days I don't talk to him for 5 days. I talked to him today.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Williamson, I said, hey, man, any chance you can join us? He said, hey, buddy, just get in the car on the scales for Fulton. Shoot me a text around 8:30. Should be good closer to 9. So jump on now. If you can. There, I texted Matt Williamson. We'll see if he joins on. Dual airbags become sleeping bags.
It's almost wild to me that that's never happened before. I can't even joke about it. I can't even joke.
I kind of knew that was what happened. All right. So basically Ray and Darren Dryden said, no, it's never too hot to race. Take the precautions if you need to. And I called everybody in the world a pussy and said, of course we're racing.
And I mean, there's times when it's not the most comfortable conditions, but usually it's got to do with, a little bit of rain. Last Friday was a good example. Was it last Friday or the week before last weekend? It's spitting, but it's not really raining. You just go on with the show.
Seems like it's been like that forever on Fridays. Okay. Where are we going to go? I just had a good thought there. Heat race pictures. Heat race pictures. Do we like them or not like them? I know we've talked about it before, but it came up again. It seemed to be an asphalt thing for a long time. It was a Humberstone thing. They pull you in the infield to get your picture taken. I fight with my dad about it in past years.
So
what do you think?
I'm not for slowing the show down to do it.
Okay, let's take that out of it. Let's take out the equation.
If you want to do
let's
it,
say we have
do it. Like if there's a victory lane kind of thing, yeah, why not? It's not hurting anybody.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm crusty about it. I understand photographers want to sell pictures. I understand it. Maybe only some guys. To me, and this goes back before we even knew this term, participation ribbon. It's a participation ribbon. Okay? You didn't win the night. You won something. So why aren't we giving a B main and a C main a checkered flag too? And the argument Gary had was, well, we threw the green, didn't we? And we threw the checker, didn't we? We had a race. So you have a race winner. Yeah. But when I go to Napa Auto Parts, and I was a kid, and I'd see a picture of Jamie Turner holding the checkered flag on the front stretch of Maryville, I knew he beat 24 other Cowboys that were the best to hold that checkered flag. He didn't get in the slow guy heat and beat 5 other guys, because I can get me a heat checkered flag by the end of the year if I race long enough. But I will never get a full checkered flag for a feature win, probably in 10 years of racing.
And does that mean you don't deserve a picture?
Doesn't mean shit, because it's just my opinion. But I just,
No, I don't disagree. So here's the interesting thing. There were people. Let's
look. It's like a guy walks around telling you how many heat wins he won in his career. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares. Nobody cares how many times you won hot laps. Nobody cares how many laps you led in your whole career. How many feature did you win? How many times did you get the checkered flag? The checkered flag, not the participation checkered flag.
Right. A lot of people wouldn't realize that heats didn't used to be evenly distributed. There's a fast car heat. You get the slow cars come out in the first heat, and the middle of the pack cars in the second heat. Then the fast cars come out in the third heat. So the third heat was a lot more competitive. It was a lot harder to win than the first or the second heat in some classes when they ran that kind of a handicap.
So should the fast guy heat get 2 checkered flags in his heat participation photo?
No,
because
but
he
more
raced
cars.
harder guys.
No, but more cars transferred out of the fast car heat.
That's what I mean. So it was harder to win that.
Yeah. Yeah. What it used to be? 5, 6, 7?
Yeah.
Yeah. 5 cars out of the first heat, 6 cars out of the second heat, 7 cars transfer out of the third heat. So usually like only 1 or 2 cars out of the fast heat would wind up in the consi.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just not loving it. Matt says the baby's crying in the car. Isn't that so cute? Matt has baby issues.
Wow. Matt used to be the baby crying in the car.
That's the point. I'm just saying, when we met Matt, he was 12 years old. Now he's got babies. All right. That's just one of the things I thought about. I'm talking about it. The other thing that we lost that was Mike Bowman commented on is a victory lap with the checkered flag. You don't see that much anymore. Now, Dave Frank still gets it, and that's one thing Asphalt is still giving. But, man, I can't remember the last time on dirt I saw someone do a victory lap.
Well, you can't really do it with sprint cars. You have to stop and push them off again, and that would almost be annoying. I've never loved the victory lap with the checkered flag, but again, it's sort of tradition, right?
And why don't you love it?
I don't know. I'm just like, yeah, we just watched you do that like 20 times or 30 times. You did it faster than everyone else. Now we get to watch you do it slowly? Come on.
No, I'm with you. I think that goes right up there with the staged burnouts we see them do at the end of the NASCAR Canada season. I'm like, oh, come on. Are we really going to hold him off, and a half an hour later you're going to let him pretend he's still excited about what happened like 45 minutes ago?
And how many times do your eyes this big watching them just about take someone out, take out a photographer?
Yeah. Dusty DeBoer says, you have a victory lane, you don't need an extra lap. That's fair. That'd be a good Ush Weekend argument. You know, we give the top 3 their full due there. All right. Bob Jr. would allow it at Maryville for first-time winners, Francis. That makes sense. You know, nobody needs to see Peak Big down here at the flag for 10 millionth time. And we're that same way. Like on the radio Ush Weekend, if the night's questionable and we're hustling because weather's coming and we're canceling Victory Lane, I promise you, if it's the Turner brothers and Dylan Westbrook, we are rolling through that Victory Lane. But John Burbridge knocks one down. We're going for it, you know?
No, for sure. For sure. It's all situational. Well, how on earth did we finish as early as we did last Friday?
Well, Darren Dryden brought it up. We talked about the new starting format for 360s, and he says, you know, he feels that's saving a few yellows a night because you don't have guys who just drew into a good spot who maybe aren't fast enough to be in that spot but got in there because they're passing points or whatever. And then I don't know. I mean, we didn't do anything different. We're still full hustle. I think we even had a short intermission, and we still got all that done.
It wasn't that short. That's what I mean.
No.
The night just flowed.
Well, that's where.
The night.
Well, a sprint car race, you can have a roll sprint car race in 7 minutes. So
right.
If the sprint cars are green and checkered, like you can knock it. To me, I usually look at them, and my pace is an hour out for qualifying. So we start at 7:30. If we're done all the heats and the Bs by 8:30, we're in a great spot. If we're done the heats by 8:30, we're in a good spot. If we get done all the Bs by 9, if we can just knock out 4 features in an hour and a half, I think that's quite capable. Let's bring on Matt Williamson, who's jumped in now. Matt, I think it's hilarious that you're contending with a crying baby because you were still a crying baby when Adam and I met you. So how wild is that?
It was good. It was great. Yeah, things have changed, huh? I used to be early 5 minutes for these interviews, and now I'm like, struggling to get here 2 minutes behind time. I feel like an asshole, but yeah, thanks for dealing with me.
No, it's all good.
You're better than I am.
Yeah, Adam slept through. Adam just got here, so you are way better off than Adam. Tonight is the perfect night to be late. You got nothing to apologize for. Adam, he's in the shit house. But so Matt, let's talk about how has being a dad changed you as a driver?
Not really much as a driver, I would say. I think I still am a meathead behind the wheel sometimes when you have to be. You think about the situations that you should be thinking about going home to a baby and you put yourself in, but you just do it anyways because it's what it takes to win. But it changes me a little bit, like as far as time in the shop. Like I'm not in the shop probably as much as I would have been before. I would have been waxing trailers and trucks today to go to Fulton tomorrow, but I try to spend as much time with the baby girl now.
It's awesome.
No, and that's a good thing, Matt. Like, so how much is having a kid? It's hard to frame even the question, but has it changed you as a person?
I think it's made me a better person. I mean, I don't think I'm one that can say that yes or no, but the stuff that used to make you really, be a bad person, you think of like you don't let it bother you. You know what I mean? You just, at the end of the day, you're going home to your baby girl, and the little stuff that you probably would have made yourself look like an asshole before doing, you don't do that anymore. You just think about the 4 hours you got to get by and get home and go be with your baby.
That's a great way to put it. I know Adam and I both feel the same way. We've talked about it in the past. I think it took a lot of the anger out of us, kind of calms you down. You just realize, it's not so bad. The things that used to piss me off because you screwed up my drink at McDonald's, big deal. Like, it's all right, all that stuff. Let's talk about where you are, Matt. We've seen you race 3, 4, 5 different cars when you throw yours in the mix at times. Where are you with your program right now? And that was Adam's question to me was, what are you racing this year? Who are you with? What series are you following? Where are you with your program right now, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, the priority this year is obviously the Super Dirt Series. That's like number one. We're doing that with the Buzz 288, all the races. We're actually, Spot was texting me today. They're getting geared up for Cornwall on Sunday and Mohawk on Monday. So that's like number one. That points championship's like really big to us. Obviously, we got the S&W 6. That's behind me. My big block car is behind me at my shop right now. My dad was getting a concrete driveway put in, so everything was at my shop for a few weeks. And we got the Coco Wentz car on Friday nights at Ransomville, and then the Barron's car on the Short Track Super Series when we can. So we're gonna do the big block series, we're gonna do the small block series, and we're gonna do Ransomville and Land of Legends every week, and then we're gonna hit as many races up on the Short Track Super Series as we can.
Man, that's a lot of racing. That's wild. Do you ever pull into the wrong pit, Matt, because you forget what car you're driving on a given night?
Not so much that. I more get my days mixed up. Like we're racing Fulton tomorrow with the 358 series with my own stuff, and I was texting Anthony back and forth this morning, my crew guy Anthony, and he said I thought it was Tuesday or I thought it was Thursday, and I was pretty sure the race was Wednesday, and he had me almost second guessing myself this morning. So yeah, the days of the week, like you really got to pay attention to the schedule. And but other than that, it's not too bad, really. I got a good group of people behind me. We just scaled the big block cars sitting behind me. Just loaded the small block car, and then me and the wife went and grabbed something to eat quickly with the baby. And yeah, I got a good group of people that make it a lot easier on me. If I tried to do it by myself, I'd probably be in a mental ward by now. But yeah, thankfully I'm not.
Matt, let's there's always this rumor about the Deo situation. I know you're friends with Brett. I don't want you to throw him under the bus, but there's always speculation. Is the deal gonna make it? Is it solid? I know you still race when you can. What are you hearing, and what do you know about it?
Yeah, I mean, I've been pretty upfront through the whole deal. Me and Brett are friends. I've met him for drinks after we were racing Lebanon Valley. We were going to Utica the next night. Me and Brett and a few others went for some beers. I mean, Brett, I think, bit off a little bit too much and tried to. I mean, he's a workaholic. I think he's got a lot of fires and a lot of fires going on. But yeah, he's squared up with us. I think he's trying to make everything right. We were owed a little bit of money. Obviously, that's why we didn't do the races that we were supposed to do, and we kind of dropped off the tour last year. But I think for the most part, he's squared up with the Barron's 3 car and myself, and I think he's working on getting the bill at Barron's paid as much as he can. So we need people like Brad around. He's done great for the modified division. I think that we're racing for the money we're racing for because of him, and like I said, he put a lot of irons in the fire and had a lot of stuff going on, and that's a lot. I mean, it would be like me trying to race more than I race right now. I know that I can't do it, and we still try and do it because that's what we do.
And what's his sweet spot, do you think, Matt? Might not even be fair for you to say. I mean, how many? Obviously, the series, and then how many racetracks?
I hope he just focuses on the series, but probably he does the racetrack stuff because the series probably doesn't pay him as much money as he probably wants to make throughout the year. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what would be. It really wouldn't be fair for me to say what he can and can't do. Like I said, me and Brett go for beers or have gone for beers. But I don't know Brett well enough to say this is what he should do and this is what he shouldn't do. But yeah, like I said, I'm appreciative as a driver of what he's done because he's paid a hell of a lot of money and we've won some big money racing for him. And I just hope that he can keep it going and keep the short track super series alive, which I think that they're on a good track now. I really do.
Oh, you muted, Clint?
Sorry, Matt. What race are you looking forward to coming up?
Fulton tomorrow. I mean, that's a pretty good one for me. I really like Fulton. I run good there. It's my own car. We got it's a 358 series, and Terry Vince builds a hell of a 358 motor, and we've only raced this car twice, and we've won twice with it. So I'm excited about that. But then we got Cornwall and Mohawk Sunday, Monday, and those are two places that I love going to. Cornwall's, one of my favorite racetracks. The fans there are unbelievably great, and it's still in Ontario, even though it's 6 hours from us. It's still in Ontario, and it's kind of like a home racetrack, but a really far away one. So I'm excited to go there on Sunday, and then Mohawk Monday. Mohawk is probably more exciting as a race car driver, and Cornwall is probably more exciting as a Canadian human being than anything. We're going to go to Cornwall. It's probably going to be slippery and hot laps, so we're going to get our asses beat by a bunch of small blocks, but I'm still going to enjoy going there.
Okay, you say that with a smile on, Matt, but we've seen it happen at Merrittville over the years, and it really is a pain in the butt for you guys who are following the series. Talk about that a little bit. Why can the small blocks beat you, and why can't you show up with a small block?
I'll answer the second question first. The reason why they make us run a big block is because they advertise it as a big block series, right? So the unfortunate thing is if they said it was a Super Dirt Car Series modifieds, I don't think it would have the attraction that it does. Like, I think that, you guys like you that have been around it long enough, you wouldn't really care whether it was a big block or a small block as long as they were putting on a good show. But fans that don't really pay attention too much or don't really know too much about racing, the big blocks are kind of like, when McDonald's came out with supersized French fries, or it's kind of a gimmick thing. So that's why they make us all run big blocks. The small blocks really, like, they slow down better. They're gonna make them weigh 2,500 pounds, but they drive easier off the corner. You don't get the wheel spin that you get with a big block. They're just easier to drive than a big block, and obviously when you can, they're gonna make them weigh 2,500. When you can put that extra 100 pounds wherever you want, you can get the percentages you need, and you can balance a race car a lot easier than you can a 600-pound big block.
Now I got one fan question, and as buddies, I even hate to ask you to because I know you're sick of beating this dead horse, but what would it John Tyner wants to know, what would it take for Matt to race Merrittville again?
Where's that?
Fair enough. Matt, good luck this week.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on, as always.
Yeah, good to
We
see
really
you, Matt.
appreciate you taking time, especially now
All right.
with the new baby, and all the best. Thanks,
Thank
man.
you, guys. I appreciate it, as always. It's always fun coming on.
Good luck, Matt.
Yeah.
Some still blood under that bridge that's not going to roll away just yet, but we'll see how that goes. I tried for you, John. I didn't think it would go very well. Let's jump into our Burger Barn videos of the week. We got a few pictures to look at as well. Throw them up, Spencer. Any order you want, any speed you want. Oh, so this is a complete half of a World Rally car. Look at that, Adam.
That's kind of cool.
That is kind of neat. I like that. The whole entire car. All right.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh,
Go ahead, slow down.
so this is one of the Hookert girls. I believe this is Georgia. She races micro sprints on Thursdays. This is her out in the field as a 10-year-old driving this massive $1 million piece of machinery because we bring up the girls right around the races. And look at the machine out their side window there.
Yeah.
I got to meet these young girls at Motorama. Her and her sister race. Awesome kids. We got a great future of tough working kids. It's Agri Night at Oshweekend this Friday. You might as well throw that picture up if you can, Spencer. Agri Night this Friday. So it felt like a good time to bring that in case IHL Meals brings Agricultural Night. Show your OFA or CFOO card for $5 off grandstand admission this week. And it's the big Southern Ontario Sprint Gold Cup race. I thought that was cool.
When you said Agra Night, I hoped it was Aggravate Clinton Night.
No, that's every Friday. All right, what else?
Is we are going to be a little bit innovative here. So taking a step into the crazy book here for a minute.
Let's do it.
We did take a look at the Savannah Bananas. And now I want to make sure I make this very clear. This is not for the sprint car races. This is not for the late model races. This is just our own thing. So don't give me too much crap here. This is something different. We're just trying something here, okay? Before y'all lose your minds on Facebook. But
Hey, Savannah Bananas are the hottest thing in sports right now. So, yeah, go ahead.
well, yeah. And so we
Okay, you
looked
can
at, like,
stop it there,
why-
Spencer. So, this is an idea that you had 3 years ago, Adam. That's Manfield Raceway they're trying to bring back, I believe it is. That's him talking with Dillner about a Savannah Bananas. And you know I've been a fan of what they've been doing with baseball, right? It's kind of like a Harlem Globetrotter thing, but they've turned it into a whole league now, and they're selling out massive stadiums. It's a racing division cross between wrestling, monster trucks, personalities, and that type of thing where there are 12 or 8 prepared the same cars with the personalities. And we didn't need to watch that whole video, but man, it pissed me off because you and I talked about that 3 years ago. They're moving forward with it. Bummed me out.
In fairness, Clinton, over the course of, it's getting closer to 30 years than 25 years now, we've talked about some pretty far out things. That is one of them, but we've had a lot of conversations.
I still see that one doable, so I don't want to throw too much smoke at it just yet, but I still have that stuck in my hat somewhere. All right, let's move on. I just had to show you that because I thought that was interesting. What else, Spencer? Oh, okay. Watch this wreck. Tell me who's at fault. The car in the black or the car in the white? Roll that back, Spencer, before we get too far. Who's in the fault? The car tucking it on the inside, the black car, or the white car in the middle?
I'm having a hard time following your question. How can it be the white car in the middle? So, two things. Number one, you know how you're innocent until proven guilty?
Yeah.
The driver at fault initially is always the driver who made it 3 wide. That's where you start.
So let's back it up. I'll give you my side of it. And here's why this is. So to me, the car in the black sticks it way down too deep, right on the inside. Okay? He goes down there, drives right over the hood of the other guy, knocks him out of the way. Now watch this.
And there goes
who's mad?
3/4 of the field in turn number 2.
The black car.
And
He
Jackson
gets
Lewis
so
not
angry.
happy.
Dude, you were the asshole.
Oh, no.
Oh, he's ripping out plug wires or coil
Yeah,
wire.
I mean, like, so you're double douche.
Yeah. So, for one, like I say, the car that made it 3 wide bears all. It's like going into someone else's pit. You don't get to choose how you leave. When you make it 3 wide, you're already the jerk. Hopefully it works out. But the car in the middle,
fair.
Show that again, because the car in the middle didn't turn when he got to turn 1.
That's why I couldn't figure out why the car in the black was so mad.
Watch him shoot up the racetrack.
Like, he's ahead of him. He's a whole row
Where is
ahead
he
of
going?
him.
Yep.
Like,
So it's like he decided at the last minute, oh, the corner's over there. Came back to it.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Let's get a weak goal. I forget we said it. Okay, so look at very similar to our apparatus, but what they do, they stuck 2 bars through underneath the sprint car and lifted up that way. At Hussit's. A little bit different. Similar. All right, what else? Aluminum tail? Oh, All right, change that. This is Jared Uhas. Last week before the Stanley Cup hockey game had us on his projector waiting for the hockey game to start. So that's kind of cool. I didn't know your head could get any bigger, but there it was.
Right?
8
there
feet
we are.
wide. What else, Spencer? All right, slow week on videos. Let's see what we got for pictures then. Oh, remember we talked about this, Adam? Plenty of time for F1 to still avoid this ridiculous scheduling clash. The racing world now is announcing that Formula One has declared war on IndyCar, what we talked about last week, moving the Canadian Grand Prix to Memorial Day weekend. You know,
It makes no sense that F1 would have that kind of feud, but I will say this. I've been really impressed with IndyCar. They're putting a lot of people in the grandstands at their races. They're doing a good job promoting the product. Fox is doing a good job showing it.
John Tyner, I don't know who you are, bud, but your poster making me laugh today. He says, Joe Plaza gets in a fight with Pete Bicknell. Joe Plaza go races Canandaigua. Williamson gets in a fight with Bicknell. Goes races Canandaigua. And then he says, I keep trying to find T-Max Bar and Grill on Facebook, but can't find it. I see a lot of cars with the bar on their car. Where's it located? It's an exclusive club. Not hard to get into if you can find it. But they don't have too many regulations. But I'm a regular. I'm a card
It's
carrying
like
member.
Travis Tritt's old song, I'm a member of a country club.
Yeah. Country music is what I love.
God. I've got
Hey.
Millbridge on TV in the background, and this kid just stuffed it head first in the wall.
I was just going to say, you avoided us for the first 42 minutes. Can you at least pay attention for the last 18?
So I've almost always got a race on in the background. I'll either go on Flow or Dirt Vision, find something, put it on mute. And I fell asleep watching the races from Millbridge, and they had a kid, couldn't have been more than 10 years old, up in the booth announcing with them. and wasn't doing a great job. Like that's why I struggled to know how old he was, because he was almost too young to be good at it. But he was trying,
Yeah.
and it put me to sleep, like fastest. Like I blame the humidity.
So was that a good thing or a bad thing? Darren Howard also says huge shout out to driver Cole Quinton in the APC Series for Denver Hospital for Sick Children. Love that too. We'll be seeing Cole on Saturday. Jared Zeppelin, Haas, chimed in. Jared, thanks for watching every week. We appreciate it. Robbie Longboat, love you too, buddy. Where are we going from here? I had a thought there, but I forgot. We got a bunch of pictures. Let's see some pictures. Oh, show a couple of these. So this was a cool family. Adam, as I was leaving Friday, came up to the truck. They had met a whole bunch of the drivers just walking through, and just great. You know, we need more parents to do this. Bring the kids over. The girls had checkered flags. They had Sharpies. They were meeting drivers. I got to meet them. It was great. One of the videos I sent in, and because Spencer wasn't friends with Brett, I don't think it didn't show. It was a video of Stratford on his way to the track on Friday, and it was his birthday last week. And they stopped him out front of their farm waving checkered flags because Brett drives by every week. Stopped him over, gave him a gift, wished him good luck on his. Like, could we ever have better race fans than that? You know, like they know he drives by every week, so they actually flagged him down. The whole family's out front. Had a gift bag for Brett. Wished him happy birthday. Good luck. We'll see you tonight. Like, just super cool. We appreciate that.
They came up into the tower after the races were over to ask Canada Joe for his autograph, and they were very polite, asked me for my autograph. But super nice. I wound up walking across the track with them because we were both headed to the pits, and they were just genuinely happy to be at the races, and they knew what was going on. They were engaged in it. It's really cool.
They wanted Johnny Longboat's autograph, and we thought we were cool. I know you signed it, Adam, because I signed my name right across yours.
Perfect.
All right, go Spencer.
This is my trouble on nights like this. I deserve whatever I get, which is unfortunate.
So this was someone's uncle's dining room table, but everybody knew Uncle Joe was a race fan. But look what Uncle Joe built into his table, Adam. Slot car set.
I'm looking at the picture thinking, what is the racing significance of this? Then boom, out of nowhere.
Aunt Martha never knew why it smelled like electrical burning in her dining room after crib every week, but there it was.
That would smell kind of funky.
Slot cars smell good after a while. I don't know. It's like race gas almost. They get that electric motor burning up. All right, what else we got? Oh, so this was a super modified Adam back in the day. When they started putting cages on them, that cage don't look like it's going to stop very much. Symbolic maybe?
That's not bad. That's a little triangulated. Man, they wanted that chassis rigid.
Yeah, and look at, and here's a more modern car.
That's one of the sexiest cars. Doug Didero, the Flamborough Corys, Mid-America Transport.
This was the first time he won the Classic. There, how about a run what you brung late model race? Bought all the plexi he could find in that little town.
Yep.
That thing probably tipped over going around the corners. All right, anything else, Spencer? Oh, this is some of the water that we had at Oshweekend. We canceled micros and go-karts last week because it rained the day before. I don't think everybody kind of knew what level of water Oshweekend took. This is Chiefswood Road, Adam. So the whole left side of the road is totally washed out. And all of Chiefswood was flooded last Wednesday. So Thursday, go back to the last picture, Spencer. That Thursday, this picture, that's the bottom lane and a half of the go-kart still fully underwater as of Thursday at 2 o'clock. So that's why we had to cancel last week for go-karts. But, and this picture, Adam, look at these colors. That's over Oshweekend on Wednesday afternoon, right around 3 o'clock. I've never seen colors like that on a radar, and when you do, it's usually in Kansas. But that's what came down Wednesday and kind of washed stuff out. But insane weather we had at Oshweekend this past week.
Big time.
Any more, Spencer?
One more.
Oh, look at Carter. What's he trying to do? So this is Carter Long, our flagger, Ash weekend, Thursdays and Fridays, and Merrittville on Saturdays. Now, what do we do with them?
So
we chain
here's
him
the
up?
deal. If
Do we
you
put
were
him on
to
a
share
leash?
this photograph, if you were to send this photograph to Matt Dillner, he would say, "My God, how did the flagman fall out of the flag stand?"
Show it again.
It wouldn't look like a
It's gotta
picture.
look-
It would look, right?
Yeah, looks like he lost his balance and is on his way out of the bucket.
Exactly. Like he's flapping his wings and he's flying away.
Carter's short. No offense, Carter. Do you think those flags would act as wings if he did fall out of the bucket?
If he flapped
Could he
them
flap
hard
them
enough.
to the ground?
And I'm not
Oh, he
making fun of
flaps them
Carter.
hard
He does a great job. But it scares me watching him.
We have the in-car camera or the flagman camera at Oshweekend on G-Force, and oh my goodness, come on, Gibbs, get with the program. What's Sean Gibbs' problem? How lame are you going to be, Gibbs?
Why can't he do that?
Yeah, if you're not
So
laying
I was
across
at-
the bar.
I was
Saturday,
at
I'll be
Jukasa
chirping.
today.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
going to give everybody false hope.
I was in the neighborhood, so I had to stop by, and there is someone who works there every day. The grass is cut, but they're there for liability reasons to make sure nobody does stupid things, and it wouldn't take much
Come on,
to make it functional.
it takes
But
a ton
it's
of everything.
because
How can you say that? How can you say
it's
that? I don't want to
because
fight
it's
because I want to go eat chicken wings, but
because it's a facility
not-
that never had infrastructure. It's like rolling wheels. Pull in a diesel generator truck, plug it in, and that place could come to life tomorrow. Yeah, maybe you
I
got to walk
understand the
the grounds.
Speedway is ready to race, but like lighting wise, but the rest of the property still needs some electrical upgrades. Yeah,
It never
I
had
don't-
creature comforts.
yeah, I don't feel that it's done for good. I just don't feel it's done yet.
It's not
You know.
ready yet to come back, but it's not done for good, sort of thing.
Well, who
Oh,
would ever
what
thought
it
Ken Hill
needs-
would have saved it in the first place?
Yeah, for sure. What it needs is desire from the people who hold the purse strings. And
Look, I'm in that game, Adam. I do the math on promos. You need a bunch of good sponsorship money, and I mean a bunch. Like a bunch for every event to make it work. You're going to need someone who's going to be prepared to lose money for a while. You know. And when I mean a bunch of money, I'm talking like $20,000 per event from sponsorship to even think about it. Then it could be backgate driven, meaning it could survive off racers alone if the crowd didn't show up. But man, it's still, you need someone. I mean, I was out for dinner today with Rick Scott from Strickland's and Peter Turford from the SOS. And, Peter's a super modified pavement guy, grew up there. Like, it's still a topic of discussion everywhere you go in racing circles here in Ontario. Pete asked me straight up again why Glenn didn't buy it. It's not right for him.
that would be the place where the Savannah Bananas could get a start and grow a following.
But what night are you going to do it?
Well, that's what I mean. It would have to be a Sunday or a Thursday.
Agreed.
It would have to be completely outside the box thinking. You're not going to run it like your run-of-the-mill racetrack. You're not going to bring people out at 11 o'clock in the morning to start practicing for a 7 o'clock show. You're going to tighten things up. You're going to entertain folks. It's going to be a carnival every week.
I kind of got thinking more and more about what could happen at Humberstone at the end there had we been able to get them to pave it for a year or two. Because we were, I don't want to say we were close, but we had the ear of the right people. they were nostalgic about maybe keeping it around for a bit, and would Glenn get involved, and but man, a new Sunday track that's paved that we could run. I know dirt fans are barfing over here, but another pavement track, like somewhere new on a Sunday that you could run 1 to 5, send everybody home at dinner time, guaranteed. Could be fun for a couple years.
I think Spencer Speedway's for sale in New York for $2 million.
I saw that. I saw everybody commenting that it's nowhere near worth that money. Just, the land and the revenue. But, hey, it had a house, it had a speedway. If you and I weren't going to use your land in Arizona and build Adam Ross's Rock and Retirement, village, then let's go buy it.
Yep.
Can you imagine
Sounds
me and
good.
you selling everything we got and starting a racetrack? We'd have to kill each other in a week, man. It would not work.
Yeah, it would not. But it's fun to think about.
Well, you bring the money, and I'll run it for you, brother.
All right, deal.
All right, I'm going to eat chicken wings. I got shit this week, too, because we keep going later and later and later.
Well, we had to go a little bit later tonight. Otherwise, I was only going to work for 12 minutes.
I hope you take a shit kicking at the racetracks this weekend for sleeping in. I hope every single person, hey, Adam, did you bring your pillow? All weekend long, like I got bananas all last year.
The funny thing is,
I'm counting on every one of
sad-
you here today to kick his ass all weekend long.
Clint knows it's absolutely true. I can fall asleep in an airport chair. I can fall asleep. Like, there is no place I can't fall asleep. But I have never missed the show on account of sleeping. Ever.
I started off the show by saying it's one of those things where, you're like, you're kind of mad that you're not here. And then you think it's funny. And then you kind of worry. And then I'm thinking, is he having a medical thing? And I'm thinking, no, he's probably just sleeping. And then I get mad again. And I think I feel bad if you.
You're going to get madder after. That's the trouble. Like, tomorrow and Thursday, you're just going to be stewing. And I can't.
No, I
got
don't care.
no defense. I have no defense. Also,
I was well prepared to talk to Ray and Darren Dryden. Now, if I was ill prepared and stumbled through that, I'd be furious. But I got through.
I'm upset that I missed it. I enjoy all of our guests, but I really would have liked talking to those guys.
I like how you said that 3 times, but not ever once did you intimate that you might even go back and rewatch it again, because I know you won't. Well, I'd really like to see what they say, but I'll never go back.
I don't know if I can start now. Do you watch these shows back?
Hell no. I'll watch a good Oshweekend night. If I feel everything ran off without a hitch and you and Greg and I were hitting on all cylinders and I'm not frustrated, I'll watch the whole night back. But some nights I just turn away like bad children and never want to see them again.
I'm just looking at Gary and John's comments, and I can't deny them.
Let's get out of here.
We've done
all right
300 hours of programming that neither of us have watched. That's impressive.
300? We did way more than 300.
Just
you mean just on this show? Yeah. Oh, yeah, I've never gone back and watched. I take that back. When everybody flipped out over my rant 6 weeks ago, I watched that back. But other than that, never.
Enjoy your chicken wings. Come up with. There needs to be a suitable punishment. I need to pay a price for this. I accept that. Figure out what it is.
Oh, next week is Canada Day. Also Tuesday, we'll be off. We're gonna push it to Wednesday, I think. So just letting everybody know, we'll be exercising the holiday too. So don't look for us Tuesday. We'll see you Wednesday. And if you're here, you better give it to Adam. I'm talking like everything. Bring him pajamas to the races. Just don't let him get away with failing us tonight. All right. See you guys.
Have a good